Clearing the air of tobacco smoke, reducing the toll of disease, vaping is the hotly debated subject of our cover story. Here's Tony Dokoupil.
It's kind of what you did in the South. You know, when you're 13 years old, I think things are a little different down here.
Nicole Crumley grew up in tobacco country and tried her first cigarette when she was barely out of middle school. For the next 20 years, she couldn't kick the habit.
I tried the gum, I tried the patches, I tried the lozenges, and none of that stuff worked.
What ultimately did work may surprise you. It's called an e-cigarette, or vaporizer, an electronic device that heats what's called an e-liquid. It contains nicotine and produces vapor, but not smoke.
I realized immediately that I was feeling better, I could breathe better. It doesn't take long for your lungs to kind of heal themselves.
Did you feel like there were changes going on?
I did.
In your lungs?
I wasn't coughing when I woke up in the morning anymore. That was a big thing. I think a lot of smokers go through that. They cough as soon as they wake up. I wasn't doing that anymore, and I haven't done that since.
Nicole Crumley is now hoping to share that feeling, and she's convinced help save lives as a volunteer for an advocacy group called the Tennessee Smokefree Association. But e-cigarettes are winning over more than just former smokers. In fact, they're gaining cautious support from a growing number of public health experts. In June, no less than the American Cancer Society noted that while the long-term effects of e-cigarettes are not known, they are markedly less harmful than traditional smoking. But if you're still skeptical, well, there's good reason. For decades, tobacco companies used misleading science to sell cigarettes and smoking, first as safe,
proof of no adverse effects,
and then as safer.
More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
But Dr. Scott Gottlieb, commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, believes this time really could be different.
Thank you all for coming.
Last year, Dr. Gottlieb proposed a historic plan to help save the lives of America's 38 million smokers. It involves reducing the amount of nicotine in cigarettes and encouraging committed smokers to become vapors instead.
If every smoker today switched to an e-cigarette, would America be safer?
Yes. The hope is that you can wean smokers off of tobacco altogether and off of nicotine altogether. But for a component of smokers, if we can migrate them onto less harmful products, non-combustible products, the presumption is you're going to be reducing risk in an adult population.
So nicotine, to be clear, is not a cause of cancer.
Nicotine's not, it's all the components of combustion. Nicotine's not a completely benign compound. It has side effects, but the cause of cancer and the carcinogens in tobacco are the products of the combustion.
In other words, it's not the nicotine that will kill you. It's the smoke. But Gottlieb and others are quick to point out that what may be helpful for adults looking to quit is also enticing for teenagers.
Vaping can deliver nicotine to your brain, reprogramming you to crave more and more. Don't get hacked.
How do you balance the interests of adult smokers with the risks associated with teen use?
Well, this is the challenge that we have. You're hooking a generation of young people on nicotine, and some of those youth will become long-term users of nicotine and maybe long-term users of e-cigarettes.
The company that makes America's best-selling e-cigarette is accused of marketing directly to teenagers.
And I just want to be crystal clear about this. We do not want a single teen using this product.
Ashley Gould is Chief Administrative Officer for Juule, a California startup that makes the best-selling e-cigarette in America, and whose marketing practices are under review by the FDA.
E-cigarettes are now more popular among young people than traditional cigarettes. Is Juul the reason?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
The device is a sleek rectangle paired with colorful nicotine cartridges as potent as a pack of cigarettes, and sweetened with flavors like mint, mango, and fruit medley.
So people look at your early marketing and they conclude, how could they not know this was going to be attractive to young people? Bright colors, cool flavors, cool people, seems obvious.
It was an incredibly short-lived campaign, and if we had it over to do again, we would not do it that way. The company was, it was not done in a way that it helped us achieve our mission.
That mission, according to Juul co-founder James Monzes, is to give smokers everything they like about the ritual of smoking without the dangers.
So I love smoking. And I know I'm not alone in this. It's been part of civilization. It's been part of human existence since about 5000 BC.
Not so long ago, at the beginning of the Juul phenomena, you gave a talk where you said that there was something beautiful and wondrous about the ritual of smoking.
Yep.
Do you think in creating Juul, you've created something equally beautiful and wonderful?
Yeah, I think so. I hear that quite a bit. I think one of the most wonderful parts of the design for consumers is that, they've finally been able to free themselves from cigarettes. But, I think what it takes is an equally beautiful experience.
But a key part of that experience is under threat. This summer, Juul watched as all flavored tobacco was banned in the company's hometown of San Francisco. Other cities are now considering similar restrictions, fearing that flavors attract young people.
I got a lot of hate mail about this. The tagline was #adults love flavors too, or something like that.
Fair enough.
Adults love flavor. And you know what? What brings me to the table is less concern for adults, but really focusing on children.
Malia Cohen led the campaign to ban flavored tobacco in San Francisco, where she's president of the city's Board of Supervisors.
What I've learned, not only in the tobacco industry, but also taking on the sugary beverage industry, is that they also falsify data. And so that's what's most alarming. If the FDA is going to really be studying this, I want independent, pure, empirical research and data to drive this policy conversation.
For Cohen, this policy fight is also personal.
My grandparents died of smoking-related diseases. And I remember after I finished college, I lived with my grandmother, so I'm in my early 20s, and I would go buy her cigarettes for her.
Cohen argues that e-cigarette makers are nothing but old-school big tobacco companies with a Silicon Valley face. But walk into a vape shop anywhere in the country, and you see another side of the industry. About half of the market is still made up of small businesses, mostly staffed and owned by former smokers like Steve Nair and his wife, Brandy.
It's much cleaner than a tobacco
They call us a tobacco product for purposes of regulation. We're not really too connected to tobacco in the traditional sense. You don't see any tobacco around here.
The Nairs are co-owners of Mountain Oak Vapors, a small chain that sells vaporizers and manufactures its own e-liquid.
This is the beginning of the process.
Yeah, this is the flavor components, so all kinds of different flavors from the fruits, bananas, peaches, mangoes, melons.
It's okay to touch it.
Yeah, it's just a food flavoring you would use in bakery or candy making at home if you make your own.
He says the liquid that most people vape is a mix of propylene glycol, nicotine, and flavors like these.
If the FDA concludes that flavors cause kids to start vaping and they restrict flavors or even ban flavors,
yeah.
So that would mean this shelf, gone.
Well, that would mean our business would be gone.
You're done.
Yeah, our business would be gone. We're based on flavored products. Vaping as an industry really revolves around flavored products. We would not be able to compete very successfully with the cigarette if we didn't have these flavors.
Keep in mind, the potential end of the vapor industry could drive more people to smoke. But legacy tobacco companies aren't betting on it. They, too, see e-cigarettes as the future.
You imagine a future in which Philip Morris is no longer selling cigarettes.
Yes, that will be that future, and the faster the better.
Andre Kolantzopoulos is CEO of Philip Morris International, which last year manufactured some 800 billion cigarettes. And also IQOS, a new device that the company says could make the cigarette obsolete.
Can you say with confidence that if you smoke IQOS, you're less likely to get lung disease?
Yes, I can say that.
Less likely to get cancer, heart disease?
Yes, all the diseases.
IQOS heats real tobacco leaves, producing an aerosol that Philip Morris International says is less harmful than smoke. The company has asked the FDA for permission to sell it in the United States.
How, after years of acknowledged deception on the part of the tobacco industry, do you convince not only regulators but the public to trust you this time when you say it's better?
Look, it's very nice to say Philip Morris, you can't believe them today because you couldn't believe them yesterday and so on. But do we think any smoker will move out of cigarettes with that? No. The world is changing.
The FDA is still reviewing IQOS, and figuring out how to regulate the entire world of smoke-free tobacco products, a process that is expected to take years. People like Nicole Crumley, though, aren't waiting. She's now trying to convince her father, a smoker for 40 years, to try vaping.
It's not for me,
While also enjoying what she says are the benefits of a smoke-free life.
I wish I had never started smoking to begin with.
How's your health?
My health has improved. I actually went to Colorado last month. You know, the elevation's a little different out there. And I actually did a hike and I was in wind and I was like, man, like there's no way I could have done this before.